Cross-examining Fulbright. Alright, let's just jump right back in. Yeah, we haven't even read his testimony yet. Okay, so what are we doing? What evidence do we have again? We have Yokai Scroll, Warding Charm, 9 Flower. Yeah, I have to... Oh boy, this actually is going to be tough because I don't remember everything I had. Special edition paper, crime foil, Fox and Demon statue, crime photo, amazing Nine Tails mask, the glossary, Jinx's statement, TV listing. Interesting. So, I could see... let's see what he has to say. I believe I gave him a voice something like this. Yes, of course. Alderman Cuby was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints on the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Cuby was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Alderman Cuby had been slipped some kind of sleeping-inducing drug? That's right. The accused was scarred because Alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Autopsy report. And the victim managed to attack his attacker, despite being impaled by a spear? That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible? Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him. Objection! Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman was just by saying alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? Never. Oh god, what am I gonna do with him? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yes. Something like this. Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former pro wrestler I met in the clink. I don't know, it still sounds a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps we should test that theory on you with the edge of my blade. I didn't sign up for this. And so your life is spared. For now. Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, or my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused's prints were on the weapon, and he's the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree, your baldness? Oh, the defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute. He has the judge leaning toward a guilty verdict. The trial's just barely begun. What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the murderer for the purpose of freeing Tenma Taro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwoods burg. Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is a raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman. The man's a strange one, he is. I heard he went for a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. Wait, I just want to make sure with it. Went to a blood... So, I'm gonna throw this out there. He went to a blood bank, not a blood drive. If you don't say blood bank, the withdrawal joke doesn't work. Order! There will be no gossiping in my court! I hate gossip. Your boldness. Please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenmataro. Then again... perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold! The lunatic appears poisoned to lunge at you at any moment. The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement, I think. Oh, come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they? The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud. Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here. Ew, thanks for the Thanks for the lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impressions to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news. In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker? None other than this statue right here. It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle. Except the position doesn't make sense. I guess maybe he threw it? Two yokai to be exact. On one side is the nine-tailed fox, and on the other, Tenmataro. Quite interesting, if you think about it. It's as though this very case was rendered in art. Updated! Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Cross-examination. QB was murdered with a spear. Let's just press. That's how you play this game. So those weapons on the wall of the Fox Chamber, I presume those are real? Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is rather dangerous? No matter what he collected, the Alderman insisted it be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently, one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle. What? That's gotta be an old wives' tale. The Alderman had pure, unadulterated justice flowing in his veins. Whatever he did it right. We lost a real champion of justice in his death. Nothing but claptrap and balderdash, if you ask me. Now stop your bleeding and tell us about the weapon. Your wish is my command. So the defendant, Damien Tenma, was found on the murder weapon. Any other prints? It doesn't make sense if you think about it. Prints could be easily wiped off. Oh, you do have a point there. I'd venture to say, he did not wipe off the prints because he could not. What do you mean? Looks like he wants you to figure it out. I'll just stand there, show him who's boss. I'm totally lost. So don't you just tell me the answer already. I don't think he saw that plea for help. Also, that was an internal monologue. You feeling alright, kid? Running a fever, perhaps? I wish trials came with a reset button. Oh, it's called saving. It's called save scumming. Well, sacrifices may yet come to light. Or specifics. Not sacrifices. At the time, Alderman Cuba was asleep from a drunky unwilling... Yeah, how did he ingest that? Come to think of it, A cup was found on the floor. Was the sedative in his coffee? Bingo! We found traces of a sleeping agent all over inside of the cup. And that is why he was out cold? That is until he leapt to his feet upon being impaled by the mayor. What an awful way to wake up. A rather stimulating eye-opener, if you ask me. I too would have risen to the attack, for to die in battle is the samurai way. Paradise awaits fallen heroes, but that hole in his stomach would make eating a real challenge. Prosecutor Blackwell, please! Those morbid jokes of yours have no place in this court. Huh. Says the Jester and Detectives guys. Moving right along. His victim impaling him like a human shish kebab. Press. So the alderman was drugged because he was really strong? Did you see those rock-hard muscles of his? I'm surprised the spear even managed to pierce that armor-like musculature. I admit, I'm completely jealous of that righteous body of his. Well, he did look pretty buff, even in that suit he had on. Quite a difference compared to, with a yellow belly like you. Yellow belly? Who even says that anymore? Yeah, and the color's all wrong, too. Oh, I know. How about a squishy red tomato? I move to strike both of your comments from the record. Mr. Justice! Mr. Justice's character is not the issue here. Let's get back to what happened. Far more muscular alderman was impaled. Give that on the spot. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed his statue and struck back. Press! Could he really have attacked his attacker after being impaled with a huge spear? Absolutely, after all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged, then speared was answered with a righteous counterattack. But does being a former pro wrestler make him superhuman? Absolutely, after all. Sorry. I'm burping a lot. I ate dinner recently. After all, he was one of the good guys, like a superhero on the side of justice. Even though he was retired, he could still don his superhero guise in times of need. Objection! You need to lay off the comic books, detective. We're talking about a real life here. Setting aside the half-wit's flights of fancy, the fact is this. The court-ordered post-mortem concluded the victim moved after his skewering. So he found the strength somehow to attack his attacker, huh? Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds airtight. No wonder he's so confident. No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about Alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. Alderman fighting back. At the time Alderman Q was asleep, Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. So what about... Okay, so a photo of the bloody footprints and black feathers scattered on top of the desk. So what about it means he couldn't have attacked? The weapon used, but the mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted. Yeah, wait, why are there no prints on it? That's weird. Oh yeah, that seems specific. Let's present that. Objection! Did the alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice? Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him? but the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory.
It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the detective statue theory.
There are no fingerprints. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that Alderman isn't wearing gloves.
Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed.
If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you?
This can't be happening. Did I arrest the wrong man?
Oh, I'm peeking so bad. Turn my gain down for Alderman. You did, Apollo. You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just 1 point in our favor. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't Alderman? Huh, well, if it wasn't the Alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor. You mean there was a third party there in the Fox Chamber? Exactly. And this could be the big break we've been looking for.
Oh, there does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion?
Huh. The least you can do is look at me while being dismissive.
Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono.
Justice Dono? He's been watching too many samurai flicks.
It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship.
This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Huh. There was a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall the blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's.
So, what are you getting at?
On your mind, boy. Why was there no blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle, and you shall see the hole you thought you found, but is an illusion.
Now let's see. How was the cloth used? Was it used to wrap the statue? Maybe Alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth? In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor.
Yeah. Precisely. Bully for you, boy.
Aw, it was nothing. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution.
I did?
I did.
Right. That a statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints is plain as day. But this also proves that there are no holes in our theory of the Alderman striking back.
Oops. Oh, there's 2 pages. Okay.
Now do you see how dull your mind is?
I'll make sure to sharpen it next time.
A particularly frightened inmate once told me that. He always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore. Samurai? That sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me. Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time.
Wait, so the inmate was murdering samurai... So the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef?
Oh, it would seem the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all.
I was kind of attached to that hole. Now what? I was kind of attached to that hole. Fucking put that on a mixtape. Alright. Apollo, I just thought of something. If they don't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say someone other than Alderman didn't hit the mayor with it?
Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it. Huh. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer. Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you? Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo? I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks allegedly from a yokai were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with the statue.
Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed that alderman?
That's exactly what I'm suggesting. No, Athena, you just lost what little credibility we had left. Oh, sorry. I guess I got carried away.
Mr. Justice, we've no time to deal with objections between members of the defense.
Sorry, Your Honor, it's just this kid's still, well, a kid. Ouch, you meanie, I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright.
So, is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it?
No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the alderman.
Oh, interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that?
Why indeed?
Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is.
No, I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. I'm not reporting. Fool, Bright. Explain his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks. What? You mean you can explain all that?
Our investigation powers is without equal.
I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession.
Very well, let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition in the municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters. So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks were planted, made it look like a yokai was the killer.
Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears?
Absolutely. He knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds.
Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. The accused demon Tenmataro, that is.
Tenma who?
Tenmataro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon, and thus were they blinded to other, more plausible explanations. Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect?
Mr. Justice, please explain yourself.
On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at QB Manor. As a part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenmataro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Dullard, you are playing right in the killer's mind games. What? Listen here, the feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believe the murder to be the work of the real Tenmataro. However, the police believe that the person in the Tenmataro's suit is the killer. The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman, and thus our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
The evidence speaks for itself, Fulbright. Right, it was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers, and the hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of justice! Oh boy, do people of the Ninetail Valley really believe a yokai is behind the crime? Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Oh, I must say, a crime that preys upon the innocent. A crime that preys upon the innocent, impressionable minds. Oh, just so. A particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey. You don't say! Was this inmate a con artist? No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Yes, well... So I gotta drink water. Man, I'm kind of bouncing all around my range with these characters. Now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination. Feathers and tracks. The entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger.
Hold it!
No, he's not to press everything. Detective Fulbright. Is the anti-merger movement really that strong? Oh, absolutely! They parade around in yokai costume shouting, "Down with Mayor Tenma! Down with Mayor Tenma!" And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenmataro, the Dark Lord of their kind. Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenmataro? I'm confused. I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy. Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act? Panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters.
Hold it!
The amazing Ninetales. No one knows his true identity, right? Except me. That's right. And he was a lone wolf. In other words, he didn't belong to any wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. And before anyone knew it, he was a champion. Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. It was a common and utter loss of face for Tenma Town Pro Wrestling. He was amazing! And if there was ever a real superhero, it would be him. I dream of becoming a true champion of justice just like him someday. I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwell. A police detective and a prisoner in chains. You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would. So you do understand the greatness that is the amazing Ninetales. It was his ninja way, you see. He stoked the fears. Press. Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the village's fears? Absolutely. It had an immediate effect. This presumed return This presumed return of the dreaded Tenmataro has them shaking in their boots.
Oh my! Is it really that bad?
That superstitious lot, it's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark a mass exodus.
I see. That's a very persuasive argument.
The mere thought of his honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now.
So you see, there can only be one reason why anyone would plant those feathers in tracks.
The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder?
What do you mean?
You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stroke the village's fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman Cuby?
Oh, excellent point.
It is, isn't it? So, Your Honor agrees that there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated? From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that? Alderman Cuby's secret identity. Apollo. I think Prosecutor Blackwell's figured out Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good. Whew. Okay. This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn at the Amazing Ninetales. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene.
Oh my, but why would it have been there?
The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more?
Well, could it really be?
Your baldness has had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex Cuby, was the Amazing Ninetales, and the mayor's discovery of this fact was his motive for murder. No! No! Oh, he beat us to the secret information punch.
Order! What a shocking development! A motive clearer than crystal! Crystal clear!
Well, what do we do now, Apollo? I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity of the mayor to motive for murder. At last, we've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your baldness? Real quick. I'm gonna have it on these backgrounds. I want a little darker. It's kind of hard to see sometimes.
I admit, it is odd that he had to create this other persona. Persona? What? I love that game. Just to secretly participate in this anti-merger movement.
Very astute of you, your baldness.
Right. Now to take a look at this.
If you value your dearest life,
you will merge Ninetales Vale with Tenma Town.
This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cuby's pocket. What? At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital. And that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life. Wait, didn't that blackmail letter sent to Mayor Tenma go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder? You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder and planted it into Alderman's pocket? It's possible, but we don't have any proof if that's what happened. Talk about being up the creek without a paddle.
Well, hey, we found the note.
Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he just left after painting the yokai things. But he was knocked out cold by his sudden decision to kill the amazing Ninetales. So, it was the amazing Ninetales counterattack that brought the entire crime to light.
Wait a sec. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed Alderman after planting the yokai evidence. And the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that. Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. I'm gonna read that again, because Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence. Okay. And the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that. So, wait, so he planted the yokai evidence and then killed him. Okay, so the proposed order of events is sleeping drug, evidence. Oh, wait, there's a bot. I have to kill it. Objection. You are found guilty of being a bot. Die. Alright, cool. Please, to your testimony. Kill the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers. I feel like if that happened, wouldn't there, like, be blood on top of the feathers? There isn't. I don't know if there's a way to prove that, though. This is important, that's not important, that's not important. None of that's important. None of this is important. It would have to just be the crime photo. On top of the blood. Okay, yeah, it's that, because it specifies on top of the blood.
Objection!
Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair.
What's this? You dare question my justice again?
Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo.
Look at this photograph.
This is the crime scene photo. Just what does this prove?
It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted.
But I already told you that they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing his victim.
But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear when the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. What proves the items were only there after the crime scene? I imagine it's like one of the feathers in the blood, because it's on top. There's no blood on it.
Take that!
Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice?
Yes. See how the feathers are on top of the blood? And the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could only have resulted after the murder.
Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing Alderman.
But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, There must have been someone else besides the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene.
Ah, there must be some mistake.
Order! Order! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you?
Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness testimony for you.
You do? But how?
Oh, he has the fingers together.
You say, where's my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked?
He's taking this really hard.
Oh, Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have?
I have it right here, Your Honor. It's the sworn testimony of Mayor Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinx Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. He is the source of those feathers and tracks. Will somebody please say something?
The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare mock this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy.
Your boldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion. Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please hear me out. Please.
Very well, Mr. Justice, I'm all ears, but you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about?
It's all in this statement here. Jinx Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro after she discovered the crime scene and called the police. She came around a corner in the hall. It was around here. That she saw Tenma Taro fleeing toward the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise.
What?
How incredibly unjust. Why haven't I heard about this before?
The defense has just proved someone else, so this mayor isn't the killer?
You guys don't shut up. The prosecutor is a convicted felon after all. Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor. Good. Now let's keep it that way.
Objection.
Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken.
My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. You implying there's a problem with my claim?
Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him.
Fool and fop. Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it.
Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. But they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination?
Why didn't those two see the Tenma Taro impersonator pass by? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, I was. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something.
Oh, I suppose we can ignore the fact that the little girl believed she saw a monster. I trust you have no objection to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find. But when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will.
Did he just say captured? No, wait, I don't want to know.
Very well, bailiff. Please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand.
God, I think I did something kind of like. Oh God, I'm doing all the scratchy voices. I gotta keep drinking water, or I'm going to shred my vocal cords. I'm doing an old man, an edgy guy, and then now and then like kind of another old guy but with an accent.
Will the witness please state his name and occupation, please?
The name's Filch, Phineas Filch, caretaker of Cuby Manor. Oh, and it is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like.
Oh my, what a fabulous pair of shoes. And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch.
It's those shoes again. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Mr. Filch stole them again. They're all yours, your honorship, sir.
What? But they seem awfully expensive.
Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your honorship.
Oh, it's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate I can't accept such gifts.
No, ethics, schmethics. Then just take them if you want them, but polish them up real nice for you, too.
I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Denmataro in the foyer after the murder.
Guarding the foyer. At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. Cuby said. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary, no siree!
That yokai you keep jabbering on about was but a phantom of a little girl's dreams.
So, you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Tenmataro?
Yep, was guarding the whole time. That's the truth, the holy truth. Nothing better than the truth. And Tenmataro, bah, you don't really believe in all that yokai mumbo jumbo, do ya? I certainly don't.
Huh? My bracelet. It's... Something the matter, Apollo? My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm. Really? So you think Mr. Tanuki, Filch, has been lying to us? I wouldn't rule it out. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell, some sort of nervous habit? Sky! What's a hawk doing in here?
Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact.
He doesn't live with you, you know, in jail. Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird?
Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that...
I don't know if you're gay enough to say that. Happy Pride Month, guys. That queer power of yours. I mean, I guess queer is cool to... No, in this context, that's pretty mean. That's not good in this context.
And that power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard.
Huh. Ugh, I won't be able to spot squat like this. I feel like that shouldn't be allowed.
What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills! No pets or animals allowed in the courtroom!
Scree!
Oh, somebody help! Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished.
In that case, Mr. Black Quill, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed.
Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. If there was someone dressed as Tenmataro there, Filch would have seen him. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now.
Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Also, wow, I mean, how old is this game? God. I mean, I think the word queer has been very much reclaimed by the gay community, but, like, in that context, oh boy, Black Quill, you know, it's Pride Month, any month you can't be saying shit like that. God, isn't black and white like the straight color scheme? It's like he's decked out in the straight color scheme. Anyway, at the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked.
Hold it!
Mr. Filch, why did Alderman QB have you handle guard duty? 'Cause he trusts me. I am the manor's caretaker after all. So, you took guard duty seriously? Let me tell you something about me. Listen here, you little tanuki. Get straight to the point and be quick about it. The court wishes to hear what you did or didn't see in the foyer, and not else. Yes, of course. Right away, sir. Black Quill's got him completely under his thumb. Like I said, I was guarding the foyer entrance. So no one fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise could get to our guest.
Hold it!
So no one could get to him. Sounds like security was pretty tight. That's 'cause there's always a lot of sneaks and thieves around festival time. And the solution was to entrust the manor security to a thief? That's not even funny. Maybe it's a matter of stopping thieves by hiring one? After all, it takes one to know one. I don't know, it seems more like letting the fox guard the henhouse to me. Oh, so the witness testifies that he took his guard duty seriously? Yes, sir. Your Honorship, sir. In my office keeping a good watch, then murder happened after 3 p.m.
Hold it!
Did you really keep an eye on the foyer the entire time? Poor old Filchy. Been working hard my whole life. Only to be smeared by some greenhorn in his fancy, smancy suit and silly haircut. Sorry, Mr. Blackquill, sir. I didn't mean to get off subject there. See, sheesh, Blackquill didn't even say anything. To answer your question, yes, I keep an eye. No, both of them, in fact, on the foyer. Okay. No, sorry.
Hold it!
Could you describe to the court who you would consider fishy looking? Someone all fidgety and shifty like. You know, like they're about to steal something. He just described himself. I wonder why Mr. Filch didn't see Tenmataro. Maybe Jinxie only thinks she saw Tenmataro? Or maybe Filch is lying. And if he's lying, we might be able to spot a contradiction in testimony. Okay, that's true. He was on guard duty. I was making sure no. So I guessed I was still in my office keeping a good watch. Then the murder happened after the. That could be a lie. I was still in my office keeping a good watch until the murder happened.
I mean, this I will say. Looking at this map, while it's possible that he would see anyone come in through the front door, coming downstairs, they wouldn't see anyone. Like, unless he... But I feel like that's a little ahead. I was making sure no one fair nor foul. Keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. That's the problem that feels like to me. Wait. 3 p.m. Filch's TV program guide after a wrestling match was a total disaster. Here we go.
Objection!
Got him. Gotcha, bitch. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Hey, it ain't right to bushwhack a fella like that. I don't know what bushwhack means. I hope that wasn't offensive. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss. I didn't watch that one, no siree. I was doing my job, just like I was supposed to. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Yipes! Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, it was a complete disaster. Yeah. So, do you admit to slacking off? You can't trick me with your rude and poop lawyer talk. I'm one of them professional types too. I can double duty watching TV and the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is professional thief.
Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off?
That's correct. He claims to have been watching the TV and foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bald-faced lie. Like your head.
Sorry, bald, you say? But I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice. And in that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. You claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV in the foyer simultaneously, and I'll prove it.
Probably this, because this one has the diagram of the TV. Yeah, it has to be this.
Take that!
Please take a look at the direction of the TV is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has an eye where his right ear should be, I think it'd be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time.
Why, yes. Someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance.
Exactly. And that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not watching the foyer as you claim.
Yipes! The bag's out of the cat! I mean, the other way around.
Water.
Water. But Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch's less than stellar work ethic relevant to this case?
It's very relevant, because while he was slacking off watching TV, there really could have been Tenma impersonator in the foyer. It really could have been. What now? Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered. What are you talking about? This. I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah.
Auditory senses. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work, right, Tanuki?
They were? I mean, yes. Yes, they were. But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't? My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. You see, the foyer floor and stairway get all squeaky, squeaky when someone's walking on them. Creak, 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 loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon.
So, you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by?
Yep, my ears were working full time. So who's a liar now, you no good shyster?
A lion thief calling me a shyster. This has to be the low point of my fledgling career.
Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackquill. Sir, you really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing. And them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine.
Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Daka is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie in this court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu.
Yipes! Please don't eat me, Mr. Taka, sir! No.
The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under the penalty of painful bird attacks. I think that's legal. I don't know. I don't know what law is. And with that in mind, the court requests that the witness revises his testimony accordingly.
He was working overtime. It's true, I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there was a little squeaky like. No way I would have missed something walking by. So you see, there wasn't no Tenmato in the foyer.
Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai demons and such. We must use common sense. For lacking that, our entire world would be put upside down. Says the convict prosecutor, who's totally a sign of the end times for the legal world.
And besides, if there were any yokai roaming about, I'd nab them and sell them to the zoo.
I wonder whether Jinxie was seeing things. That seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. But if we can't prove we saw Tenmataro, the mayor's sure to be convicted. Then we'd better hope my guns fire bullets, not BBs. The defense may cross-examine the witness. He's working overtime. On the office TV. Press, why not? I'm having fun here. You are paid for your work, aren't you? So how do you justify watching TV on the job?
It ain't easy being me. I mean, I can't watch TV when we have victors. Then there's no way to record stuff.
Sorry, am I supposed to be consoling you over your first world problems? Damn. Damn, first world problems over here. If those are his only problems, he should consider himself lucky. I guess pro wrestling's serious business to Mr. Filch. Slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime.
Hold it!
You lied earlier about taking your guard duties seriously, didn't you?
Oh, that ain't no harm in betting the truth a little, right?
Listen to me, you little tanuki. Lie again and Daka shall feast upon that forked tongue of yours.
Squee! Yipes! Sorry, just let me keep my tongue.
At least leave it until we get the truth out of him in any case. You were negligent in your duties, were you not?
Yes, sir, I was, sir, but it ain't like that.
What if he flew by? So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch?
As good as that come, I'd say. There ain't nothing to hear. Ain't nothing to hear a crack creaky floor. Plus, that Temataro makes a sound when he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle.
Jingle jangle? How does he do that?
It's that staff of his. That's what jingle jangles.
What's he talking about, Apollo? Beats me, but I guess Temataro has a staff that makes noise? Come to think of it, didn't Jinx mention something like that too? She said she saw Temataro holding a staff-like object that made a jangly sound. I guess that's the source of the noise then. Well, Mr. Justice, the Filch says Temataro jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital sure. Extremely vital, because that'd be added to his testimony. I just press that. Let's press the new thing. So Tenmataro's staff makes a distinctive sound.
Yep, like a jingle and a jangle.
Wait, Jinx said something like that. Can't quite put a finger on it. Was to pass by, his staff would gun jingle jingle. Oh, right, he doesn't usually have a staff. Anything in the thing that specifically says... nothing here else relates to it. So yeah, let's just do the legend scroll. Tenmataro doesn't have a staff. Objection! Tenmataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm going to say that your story doesn't add up. Is there something the defense would like to share with the court? Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tenmataro on the day of the incident. Why then did you assume just now that Temataro would be holding a staff?
Nah.
You see, the Temataro Jinx you saw held a staff in his hands. And she described it sounding just like you did, as a kind of jangly sound.
Yeah, so he was holding a staff. What's your point? Objection!
The point is that Temataro doesn't use a staff. Not normally.
What are you talking about?
You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenmataro. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch?
You're right. There's no staff, but not even a cane or a walking stick.
Yeah.
So the question is, why does the witness think Tenmataro uses a staff?
I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level.
Well now, this is getting interesting. Alright, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmataro carries a staff.
He actually saw Tenmataro. Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff.
Busted again! Bloody hell! You duplicate little...
Sorry.
Bloody hell! You duplicitous little...
Yes, how'd that feel, Black Quill? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tenmataro that day, didn't you? Well?
I'm begging you, please don't make me say it!
But clearly you did see Tenmataro. Stop stalling and testify to that fact.
No can do. No way, no how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he could be.
He? Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Tenmataro, even though he knows he did. The question now is why? Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why he can't admit the truth? Come to think of it. They say you must not gaze upon Tenmataro, but even in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, Tenmataro will claim your soul. Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Tenmataro after hearing about the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone that she had seen Tenmataro, he'd claim her soul. Wait, you think Filch believes that too?
So Mr. Big Time City Slicker Lawyer has heard about him? The old village superstitions?
Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about?
The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things. And their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tenmataro.
Darn straight, that's why. It's all right here.
Knowing the superstitions will cost you your soul. Do not gaze upon Tenmataro. Do not tell others if you see him. Ignoring the will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village. Wow, I assumed you kind of had a bit more. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul.
See, that's why us folks in Ninetails Vale can't talk about seeing Tenmataro.
That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstition by wearing a Tenmataro costume. They knew that no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Tenmataro impersonator is the true killer.
What?
Objection!
Superstitions, you say? What kind of fool would actually believe such rubbish? And what would that using some silly fairy tale could... And would that...
I'm brain farting. And would that using
some silly fairy tale could so easily expose the culprit? You'll need to come up with a more rational, common sense explanation than that.
Objection!
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Objection!
Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstitions in the clink, but few of those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Oh boy, this is getting to me. This is tough. Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Ninetails Vale. A life or death superstition might even make you a believer.
Order! Order, I say!
You fool of a Tanuki! 2 times now, your lies have cost me. Sorry, I promise not to do it again. Taka, my fine-feathered friend, have at him. Yipes, he's gonna eat me alive! Head for the hills! Head for the hills!
He took off.
Bailiff,
What are you waiting for? After him! And with your fastest man!
That's certainly not something you see every day.
Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third party disguised as the yokai Tenmata was at the scene. And now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackquill?
Dot, 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 dot. Oh. What?
Huh? Oh!
It's Shackles. I'm too young to die.
Justice, Dono. Long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade. You had best stay your prayers. The detective should do something! Have no fear, Fulbright is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going.
But get going already before he kills us.
Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackquill.
What is his sense of justice that set him free? Objection, objection, I object to the Detective Fulbright's definition of justice.
Oh.
Silence.
Ooh. Huh. I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards. Well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, can I ask you to, you know...
I think the judge forgot he's in charge here.
So, Justice Dunno's assertion is this. Tenma Tao is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime.
Right, and that yokai, or rather whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman QB.
Silence.
Yeah. Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the Fox Chamber?
What? He's right. She said nothing about Tenma being in the Fox Chamber.
Huh. Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door.
And your point is?
Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewered murder victim, the Alderman, and the homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor.
No, there must have been someone dressed up like Tenma.
Then why does this little scamp claim not to have seen a yokai in the Fox Chamber? Oh, considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned a third party that might have been in the room.
I don't understand. Why didn't she see Tenma inside the Fox Chamber?
There was but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tenmo whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime.
Uh-oh.
The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long has my blade thirsted for blood. At long last it shall be sated.
Wait, this is still a trial, right?
Show me what you're truly capable of, Justice Dono. Well then, both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to...
3 minutes.
I'm sorry, but a 3-minute recess.
Just so, plenty of time for your destination of intent is the loo.
The loo? Oh, you mean the bathroom?
Sheesh, at least include enough time to wash our hands.
See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished.
Oh, yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins.
I declare Prosecutor Blackquill the winner of this round of Simon Says. Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? He busted out of his shackles. Yeah, what was that all about? I guess they don't make shackles like they used to. Better be careful, Apollo. You really bought out the samurai in him. Especially after you proved there was a Tenma impersonator at the manor. What's with that guy in the old samurai act anyway?
Such fine swordsmanship. That is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel.
No, wait. Let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence.
Oh, well, I suppose it could wait till later.
Does anyone remember we're here conducting a trial? Athena, I'm gonna go wash up. Remember what Blackquill said, Apollo. Don't be late.
Oh, Blackwell, what are you doing in the bathroom? Don't worry about it. Flick. Now then, I believe our next witness is Miss Jinx Tenma, a maid at QB Manor. I believe we can proceed now, if the witness is ready, that is.
Nihurion, leader of the 100 demons. He really does exist. Wow, that is one well-polished tray.
The witness will show her face while in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible. What is it, my child?
Begone, Nihurion, leader of the 100 demons.
Oh ho ho! You think I'm a yokai? Well, I was known for as a traditional monster of sorts. The best of the the demon of due process, if you will.
My charm's no effect. The demon of due process? Not sure I can see that one.
Now, you little scamp.
Yes. Yes.
I trust you know why you're here.
Bags?
Bags? Oh, the Trixie Tanuki. Try the noodle stand and go enjoy a big bowl of Tanuki tail noodles while you're at it. Everyone's a comedian.
No, I meant your bags. The one under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Azukayo away.
Azukairi? The yokai that washes Azuki beans? I'm gonna call them yokis from now on. The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off.
Azukai often keeps people up at night with the noise he makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore.
Is that so? Well, thank you.
Well, is it?
I'll do it again.
Is that so? Well, thank you.
Looks like Prosecutor Blackquill got more than he bargained for. They're bad enough alone, but together, those two are just plain creepy.
Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Tao when you discovered the crime scene.
Did I see Tenma in the Fox Chamber? Well, I opened up the door.
I saw. Yes, now I remember. Yoki, right there in that room.
So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime?
Uh-huh. Lots and lots of them.
Wait, more than one yokai? Did Tenmato happen to be among them, or...
I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is the room was swimming in yokai. Kasha, Nuakabe, Satoshi, they were all there.
Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. We've gone from no yokai to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. You would have this court listen to this delusional little scamp's testimony.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course. What a fabulous idea! Please proceed, Miss Sykes. I'm curious what this therapy is you speak of. I haven't heard of it. Do you think it might be a good idea? You sure you know what you're doing, Athena? She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying has dazed her and confused. A regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Shall we let Miss Six proceed? Huh. It makes no difference to me. Do as you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. She'd be better serving by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land. This one. I'll show you.
Wow. Did I see Tenmato in the fox chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw. Yes, now I remember. Yoki, right there in that room.
Found something. Looks like an out-of-control emotion. Athena, what exactly are we looking at here?
Oh, this?
It's one of Widget's functions. Right here you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice. Whoa, you mean that little thing can do all this? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I thought it was just some kid's toy. Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. See how sad is brightly lit there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is making her other emotions. It seems that sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess. So, all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of her rampant emotions? Yes, that's right. Her fear has instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. I mean, yeah, she did stumble upon a murder scene, and her father is on trial, so that's understandable. She's seeing normal everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a... are we just... I don't know if we can just not diagnose it with schizophrenia, but at least we're using the full word. It's a form of schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. And the trauma in Jinx's case is fear. So she was, and still is, seeing ordinary objects as yokai? We'll have to find the root cause for extreme fear before I can treat it. Now let's see. Apollo, can you point out the yokai on the Wheel of Fire? She seems to be particularly terrified of that one. Start by pressing probe. Point to what's causing Jinx out of control emotion. Finally hit probe, tutorial. Let's give this a try, it's a tutorial. Cat monster, I just want to read. Wall monster. Cup monsters. Raccoon dog. There was a raccoon in the room, there were cups, and there a wall monster. Oh, you mean the partition. This is probably the partition that was in the room. Red cat monster on the wheel of fire. Jinx. What's the name of that yokai on the wheel of fire? That's Akasha, a yokai that steals the body of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the aldermans. It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation. Exactly. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. I mean, the fact that we've actually identified this at all means her testimony is extremely untrustworthy and we can't use it at all. But anyway, there must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha. Apollo, you need to point out what she thought was a yokai on a wheel of fire. The chandelier, right? Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. It was a chandelier. The light fixture? This one right here. It has a flame design and is up on the ceiling. There was never a yokai on a wheel of fire. The Kasha you saw was just a light fixture. Do I have to do this for everything? That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. Now that we've got the hang of it, it should be a cinch to point out the rest. Jinxie, what about the white wall-like monster? That's a new Akabe. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or it leads you astray. That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. Actually, you don't have to actually do it. Zakun Dog isn't a tanuki monster. It's just a statue of one. And look, these are just coffee cups. And this right here is nothing more than a fox statue. I don't know what I was thinking. You did, Apollo. Extreme fear is under control now. Because obviously, when someone is doing hallucinations, all you need to do is harshly reject their reality, and then they'll just be fine. That's how that works. That's not how that works. Go to an actual professional. It was all just my eyes playing tricks on me? There weren't any yokai after all? See, a clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. And just like we thought, there never really was any yokai in the Fox Chamber. That's bad. Right. There never were really any yokai there. So the defense is asserting the exact opposite of their original assertion. Wait. Jinxie, what about Tenmataro? There wasn't anyone dressed up as Tenmataro, or any other yokai either. I remember it clearly now. You've gotta be joking! These two are a fun duo. I like them as partners. Order! Order in the court! I think we just dug our own grave. Allow me to push you on it. Allow me to push you on it. On it. It's the least I could do. No, no! Apollo, can I interrupt your freak out for just 1 minute? I'm still picking up some noise. It's an unexpected emotion. Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet? Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll enter new information we have and run an update. Still sadness and confusion. Lots of sadness and confusion. My legs gave out and I fell to the floor. There in the fox chamber I saw the alderman dead on a table and Papa collapsed in a chair. I don't super remember this minigame at all.
Got it.
Huh, this seems like an unnatural reaction. Really? Because I don't see it that way. Oh, right, I have to get a weird reaction. She's sad and confused for this. My legs gave out and I fell to the floor. So she's more confused for the floor statement. There I saw the fox chamber and I saw her shiver. She's still sad and confused. Dead on the table and Papa collapsed in a chair. Who else was there? And that includes Tenmataro.
Got it.
Is it this? I don't lose anything. Huh. She's really confused about her legs giving out. That is also suspicious. I am glad there's no penalty for this. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I gave out and fell. My legs came out.
Got it.
I mean, I don't know what to do. She's just sad and confused the whole time. I was so scared when I entered the room. Give out and I fell to the floor. I saw... Okay, so is that true? I did the... I don't know. Wait, what am I supposed to do? Try to find the emotion that contradicts her statements, so if I find a contradiction emotion, I should point it out. To look out for, you should also keep an eye out for sudden changes in emotional intensity. Now the same emotion changes through a testimony. This is weird. I was so scared. That seems pretty normal. I saw... That's pretty consistent.
Got it.
I don't know.
Got it.
I have no fucking clue.
I keep doing the same thing over and over again, but still.
Got it!
I was so scared when I entered the room.
Got it!
I'm just gonna fucking try everything at this point.
Got it! Got it!
Oh, she got less sad about falling to the floor? Oh, wait, is it sad? Is it fear that? I thought it was sadness. I don't remember what all the faces mean. That's a little annoying. The amount of fear you felt is rather low despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear? Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage at that moment. You did? Where did it come from? Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. I suddenly felt as if she was there with me. Okay, I'll enter a sudden burst of courage. Now, let's see. Ah, look. Apollo, the noise is all gone. Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now. Bye-bye. A sudden burst of courage. Now, where could that have come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage? Yeah, there was, but, I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later. Any idea what could have been, Jinxie? What it could have been that gave Jinxie that courage? Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. What if she saw something like that at the scene of the crime? Did your sudden outburst of courage have anything to do with this? Oh, I got no clue. Like a mask? It might have been at the crime scene. Oh, the Ninetales, it was her mother's favorite. I think it's this.
Take that!
Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a Ninetales flower there at the scene, did you? The demon lawyer strikes again. I can't hide anything from you. I found a small case with a picture of a Ninetales flower on it. I liked it so much I kept it. You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene?
That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce that evidence this instant.
Sorry.
Oh, it does seem to be some sort of case. Oh, look, something slid out. It appears to be a key.
Might I have a look, your baldness?
Oh,
Huh. Ah. This is none other than the master key to QB Manor.
are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackquill?
It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder. A master key that went missing? Why don't I like the sound of that? Our little scamp here stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence. That's a little melodramatic, don't you think?
Huh. Heed these words, for I shall say them but once.
The sole key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scamp's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder, which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl. And your point is?
until Jixie Tenma opened the fox chamber with her key. The room had been locked tight from the outside world, and there was no one else in there save the victim and his killer. I trust you figured it out for yourself by now? A killer other than Maya Tenma himself would be utterly inconceivable. No!
Objection!
So what happened was they called through the vent and they dropped down, and then they hid behind the wall partition folding screen for her to open the door, and that's when he put the costume on and ran out. Okay, I got it. I just kind of have it.
How could this happen? Ugh.
The defense assistant will refrain from growling her frustrations.
Athena, are you alright? Ugh, I knew Miss Tenma's innocent, but there's nothing we can do. This sucks.
Sextono, allow me to put you out of your misery.
Can I decline your offer?
I abandon your client and your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of a clear head and a clean conscience come rushing in. That will make the inevitable guilty verdict far easier to accept.
Great. Now he's playing Simon Says with us.
Well, he's not going to fool us with his stupid mind games.
Athena, don't fall for his tricks. Now I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight. Hey, are you alright? She fell right into his trap.
Now I suggest you make a mad dash from the courtroom into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed.
Alright, I'll be back in 10. Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai. Apollo...
Mr. Justice, I heard the word objection, but what is it you object to?
Huh?
Oh, right.
That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. I thought I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena.
The court is waiting, Mr. Justice, though, as it stands now, I'll be forced to declare your client guilty and your legal skills suspect if this is it. Now, do you have anything that could overturn the prosecution's case?
Well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Apollo, you have to do something more than the cords of steel, don't you? Not really, but we'll be fine. But... I've got absolutely nothing, but that's never stopped me before. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped the locked room. Because it's all over if I don't. Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Let's try to think outside the box. Or in this case, inside the box. And what a doozy that locked room is, too.
Well, Mr. Justice, you have anything that could counter the prosecution's argument?
You bet I do. The real killer must have escaped from the locker room one way or the other. Or another.
Vague conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Dono.
Time to do or die. Literally.
The defense will now explain how it would be possible to escape the locked room.
You sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened? I'm fine. We just need to We just need to think this whole escape locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so? The choices are pretty limited. The room has a window, but it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through, and there's a sheer cliff outside. They hid behind the partition. As for the air vent, it's up too high, and there's nothing you could stand on to reach it. And needless to say, or maybe
the forbidden chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's that. So that's out. Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. We need to rule out all the absolute impossible escape routes. And whatever's left just might lead us to the Fox Chamber. Just might lead us to how the Fox Chamber was compromised. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the killer escaped through here. He escaped through the front door.
Take that!
The hallway door? Well, yes, I suppose that would be the only way out. Huh. It would appear you've already forgotten. The only available key out until Jinx Tenma came on the scene was within the locked room. But how would one exit the Fox Chamber and then lock it without a key, huh? I should have seen this coming.
Remember, Apollo, keep it simple. Simple, right. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with the key, but...
Well, Mr. Justice, the prosecution has some fine Japanese steel waiting unless you explain yourself quickly.
Don't encourage him to kill me. I'm fine. I can explain myself. The reason the Fox Chamber hallway door was locked was because... it locked... So I'm a little ahead of the case right now. So it did not lock on its own. Tenma locked it from the outside. Or the pup locked it from the outside. Wait, so why was the door locked? I guess because Tenma locked it from the inside? Wait, that's not possible. Wait, I'm confused. Tenma locked him...
I see, then again, would Mayor Tenma have mentioned that himself?
Yeah, that's wrong. Investigate such possibilities. You'd have?
The mayor's fingerprints were not found on the door or its doorknob. The only fingerprints found belonged to the alderman. Ergo, the mayor did not do so much as touch the door.
Oops. That was a lot of... The pup locked it from the outside. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door, then locked out!
Consider this. The master key was found inside and inside the tightly locked Fox Chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from the room is a blatant contradiction of fact.
In the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside. The key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction. Only could explain both. Like how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from the outside. So I guess my explanation is a little wrong, because I don't know how the door...
Let's see if the defense can respond, Professor Blackwell's draw. Let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackwell draws his sword.
Anytime. You didn't change the lock. Threw it in from the outside? What? No. Slipped it in when the door was opened. Maybe that one? I don't know. Maybe someone threw it in from the hallway when Jinx opened the door? That would explain...
Nah, it's still... Perhaps we should ask the little scamp herself. When you open the fox chamber, did you witness anyone throw the mask? Nope. No, that's wrong. Oh. Okay, someone got the key. Try it again. How could the master key be at the crime scene? I guess they threw it through the window. What if someone threw it into the room from the outside? You know, something like... Go out the hallway door, lock the room, and then toss the key back through the window. That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room. And where would you throw it from? There was a cliff outside the fox chamber's window. Throwing the key in... Oh, my battery's low. Oh, no, it's completely disconnected. Ah, shit. I'm gonna start leaning back a bit more, so I'm gonna move my mic. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility. Oh, right. Ugh. Yeah, that's why I didn't click it earlier, because I know it's wrong. I don't like this section because it's like, hey, pick the wrong answer. God, this sucks. I wonder if the key couldn't have been tossed in from somewhere other than the window. Somewhere other than the window? Huh. The air vent.
Take that!
The air vent? Yes. The window may be out of the question, but the air vent's not. Oh, that's right. The fox chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway. That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the fox chamber. Then dropped the key into the room through the vent inside the chamber. Ugh! That's preposterous. Oh, that explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly. Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused. Don't worry. I'll explain it so even Your Honor can understand. Oh, that was kind of mean. This is backhanded. First, the real killer disguised as Tenmataro murdered the alderman in the fox chamber. Then they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside in the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after was go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer? Amazing! Even I could follow that! And the judge seems really pleased. That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up like Tenmataro. And there was someone else there and there was someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in that room. Hey, it looks like the lawyer just beat the jailbird prosecutor. Well, that was a total turnabout. Massive war. Words. Order, 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 I say. Now that you've proved a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence!
A valiant effort, Justice Dono, but your final thrust missed its mark.
Huh?
Both that little scamp and the tricksy Tanuki saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz right through the front door?
That's exactly what happened. The killer fled from the yout.
But that is impossible. Without being spotted by the foyer security camera, that is.
The electric eye would have captured any pesky little yokai trying to escape. However, there was no sign of Tenmataro anywhere in the security footage.
What?
Save for the foyer entrance, there was no other way to flee the manor, is there?
I don't feel so good.
Wait, I believe there is one other way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera. Hey, you're right.
Silence.
Huh. Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only brains, but investigative prowess to boot. That is the cliffside of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one.
No! Wait, so the killer didn't escape out the foyer window? What the heck, right?
I suppose your next proposal is that the killer sprouted wings and flew off into the sunset.
That would mean the killer really was a yoki. If only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer. Who's saying we don't? And as completely far-fetched as it might be. What? You're saying you can prove the killer could fly? Whoa, I thought I was the one with cords of steel. I thought I was the one with cords of steel.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Your Honor?
What evidence do you have the killer flew away?
Where's the newspaper? Yeah, it's the paper.
Take that.
Take a look at this special edition paper. Tenmataro, real or flight of fancy? What does this article...
Tenmataro, real or flight of fancy? What does this article prove, Mr. Justice?
The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in the photo is the killer shortly after they fled out the window.
Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting...
Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer, disguised as Tenmataro, flew away. You know, by some way or another.
Silence.
It is your brain that has flown the coop. That image is naught but trickery photography or some other form of artifice.
Okay, then how about the Tenmataro figure Mr. Filch saw? It just vanished into thin air?
No, there was a rational, common-sense explanation for that. The infernal yokai our tricksy Tanuki witnessed never reached the entrance. He, or should I say, she, turned back before the camera's electric eye.
She? I don't like where this is going one bit.
Now, the fact that we know the yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that was likely either Mayor Damien Tenma or his daughter, Jixie Tenma. However, we know that Mayor Tenma was already unconscious at that time.
Oh, not good. Not good at all.
Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Dono? The falsified yoki remains. And the appearance of Tenmataro were the work of one individual. And the individual is none other than Jixie Tenma.
Jinxie. She's accusing Jinxie of being Tenmataro.
What? No!
Order! Order! The defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever?
The little scamp was, no doubt, simply trying to protect her father. And it's no wonder that her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade.
Prosecutor Blackwell's assertion makes perfect sense to me. It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out the window.
Huh. Did you truly believe this could end any other way? Did we fall right into his trap? What did we do now, Apollo? Our case no longer stands without a real yoki. If only we had one.
Bailiff, seize her. It is time I interrogated her as the samurai of your wood.
Mayor Tenma?
Huh. This farce is over. How does it feel seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul? Tenma Taro's true identity is.
Now, Mr. Mayor, it would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you had been knocked out cold by a blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming about the manor would be all but impossible. Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, the prosecution would be willing to overlook her little yokai farce.
Well, confess? The defendant intends to confess?
Wait. Apollo, Prosecutor Blackwell's up to his mind games again. Mayor Tenma, no. Don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone.
The real killer is...
Mayor Tenma's going to confess unless we do something. But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away.
Caw. Look upon me in despair, for ripe is the time for my return.
Huh? Uh-oh. I should watch what I wish for. What's happening? What?
Ka! Foolish immortals! I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you seek!
Mayor Tenma?
Silent! I am Tenma Taro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber! Behold, the return of the Demon King!
What the Demon King?
Well then, I think it's time for me to take a vacation! Take a vacation! The witness will, he will explain himself. Are you saying you're Tenma Taro, the yokai we've been chasing this whole time? Indeed, it is I, Tenma Taro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenma Taro, you say? Huh, what nonsense!
So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now.
Ka! His body is now mine.
I'm acting bad on purpose.
So you're saying that Tenma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai that Jinx Tenma and Phineas Filch saw? And the one captured in the newspaper photo? Those were all you? The accursed power of these warning charms prevents me from revealing my true form.
Your boldness. Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt?
Well, a confession by a yokai would be quite unprecedented.
Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned. Huh?
What?
You claim the yokai that little scamp saw was some third party, the true killer. The one who escaped the locked Fox chamber. But it was all the accused all along. Ironic, is it not? Your yokai turned out to be real in a manner of speaking. For the alderman's killer is none other than Mayor Tenma, and the yokai at the scene. That too was Mayor Tenma, or should I say, our dear Tenma Taro. The pieces have all fallen into place. How so, Prosecutor Blackquill? It seems I must spill it all out for you. Mayor Tenma killed the alderman in the Fox Chamber, which was locked at the time. I'm gonna drink water. This hurts my little throat. He then removed the warding charms from the Forbidden Chamber's door, but then fell unconscious from the blow to Alderman had delivered to his head. That's when his daughter, Jinxie Tenma, stumbled upon the scene of the crime. Little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. The newly freed Tenma Taro then fled from the Fox Chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father possessed by Tenma Taro.
Objection!
But when we arrived on the scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How is that possible if he was supposed to have flown out from the foyer window? Then what? Do you mean to say the maid of Kyubi Mana Jinxie Tenma was Tenma Taro? That too is easily explained. Flew about for a time I did, but presently tired I made for the Forbidden Chamber. But alas, exhaustion took me unawares in the Fox Chamber, and I knew no more. It would seem the pieces are all still in place. Is Blackquill up to his tricks again? I don't know what to say. Is the defendant a real live? So the rumors about Mayor Tenma is true. I knew yokai were real. You mean he really did kill the alderman? Just so he could release Tenma Taro? Order! Order! Now he's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai. It's Simon Says on steroids. He wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai. The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty, your baldness. Oh, this is one of those most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact. That's saying something. Could yokai even be prosecuted under our legal system?
Objection!
Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenma Taro to protect his daughter. Plus, I already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature. Oh, since both sides have raised valid points, I have no choice but
Silence.
to... This is the dark age of law, where defense attorneys are not to be trusted. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning, Justice Stono.
Objection!
I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence.
Then prove it by joining me. A night in the clink will ensure you will not succumb to temptation. How about I just promise not to succumb to anything? We have both evidence and a confession. The killing is yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. A guilty verdict is all but... What's wrong with him? Prosecutor Blackquill, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are a serious violation of that.
What in the devil was that? A fool bite? Have you tampered with my shackles in some manner?
It seems you have found that quite shocking. It is my special jolt of justice device. Each breath is a shocking reminder to behave.
You shall pay for this. I, Simon Blackquill. Your Honor.
You need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Blackquill will remain on his best behavior.
A bit late with the reassurance, aren't we, Detective?
Well, in that case, this concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned. To be continued.
Alright. I'm gonna call it there. I am tired. Let's see. Anyone I care about streaming? Oh my god, Oz is still streaming. Hell yeah, let's raid the Oz. You know who needs more raids? Oz. Let's raid Oz more. Because people have been raiding Spectral Fusion all freaking day. I'm gonna wait for this ad to stop. But yeah, good stream, people. That's only 4 seconds. Yeah, raid. Alright, good raid, peoples. I mean, good stream, peoples. It will be a good raid. But yeah, good hanging out. Peace, peace. Pile.